Hey there, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great one. And although the market is continuing to rise, we're seeing a second day in a row of green numbers. We have some somber news that we want to address. First, we're going to get to a few altcoin updates. We'll be discussing Chainlink. We'll be discussing THETA Network. We'll be discussing Elrond. And of course, we're also giving away $50 worth of Ethereum both today and tomorrow. It's your last couple of days to participate in the contest. But before we get to any of that, we do have to address the news. John McAfee, and we have to talk about the unfortunate circumstances that characterize his demise here. This is late breaking news from yesterday. John McAfee, founder of McAfee Antivirus, was found dead in his Spanish jail cell. Unfortunately, his lawyer has confirmed. Look, McAfee was more than just a shill for ICOs in cryptocurrency. Maybe you don't fully agree with his actions over the course of these last few years, but there are a lot of very suspicious variables surrounding his death. We don't know all the details yet. At the time of this recording, at least, his wife, Janice, has not spoken out in a way to kind of shed light on any of this. Look, we'll bring you up to speed if you're hearing about this for the first time. Unfortunately, we want to send our best wishes out to the McAfee tribe. And look, although we didn't always agree, rest in peace. R.I.P. John McAfee. So a little bit of negative news to discuss today. We'll discuss the positive after we cover this. Of course, guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and altcoins, be sure to like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News. Okay, so this is the latest. It is unfortunate news. John was in many ways the kind of person that I aligned with personally, and I didn't, support a lot of his actions. I couldn't get behind what he was doing in the cryptocurrency space, but really, I think from like a libertarian perspective, as we'll see in just a moment, I can get behind some of his philosophies, if not some of his actions. Maybe some of you feel the same way. New York Daily News here. Breaking: John McAfee, the founder of the antivirus computer software bearing his name, was found dead inside a jail cell. That's according to Spanish media. The discovery reportedly came shortly after Spain's national court approved his extradition into the U.S. So what you have here is one jurisdiction, I guess Spain. I think he was found in Madrid or in that area. That's where he was staying. That's where he was imprisoned. So you have one jurisdiction that is agreeing with the United States to transfer the offender into another jurisdiction. This was sort of a deal that was recently agreed upon. And then all of a sudden, in the days following, he's so-called suicided himself. We have another Epstein apparently on our hands because John very clearly came out and said in the past, and actually to use that term, he said, "I will never Epstein myself, despite what's kind of happening right now in my circle, in my life. Don't ever be fooled." We'll get to that in a moment. But speaking on that philosophy that I mentioned, this was what I thought was always cool about John. Again, I wasn't into his coins. I wasn't into anything that he was shilling. Maybe a little bit too abrasive for my tastes, but like at the heart of it, I did enjoy that libertarian philosophy. Don't forget, John McAfee was a libertarian candidate, both in 2016. Well, let me clarify. He aspired to be the libertarian nominee. He didn't really get anywhere, but he was making a push for 2016, 2020. And his whole thing, to speak fondly of John for a moment, was to say, look, I know I'm not going to be president. I know the system, the establishment is never going to allow it. But what would be cool is to move far along enough in the polls and in the rankings so as to qualify for the debates, because I'm just going to open Pandora's box. I'm going to talk about all the things I want to talk about. I'm going to absolutely set the world on fire just with that discussion. Nobody's ever going to vote for me after that, but I hope to spark some discussions in the process. And he never made it to that stage, unfortunately. But whatever you think of the guy, I personally feel that that's kind of commendable as far as an outlook. So Kim.com here, quoting John: "I want to build an anti-surveillance phone, Kim, with air-gapped camera and microphone, open source operating system with VM and the most secure crypto wallet. That'll piss the mass spying US government off. Want to help me?" So that's a quote attributed to John McAfee shortly after he was arrested on so-called tax charges. Rest in peace, John. Okay, let's dive into some of the reporting a little bit here. RT, that's Russia Today, was among the first to break the story. So, software guru John McAfee found dead in Spanish prison. Again, the timing, not that it proves anything, but it's a little bit suspect. Found dead right after the court approved that extradition to the U.S. So, McAfee was 75. He was found in his cell at the Saint Esteve Cerrovires jail on Wednesday evening, that's according to Spanish media, citing an official statement from the Ministry of Justice. Guards and prison medical staff intervened and attempted resuscitation, but to no avail. Investigators have been dispatched to the jail to probe the cause of death, but, quote, everything indicates it could be a suicide, the ministry added. And I don't know to what extent John McAfee has dirt on, like if this is the sort of thing where if there was sort of an indefinite detention scenario and maybe John McAfee was being extradited, in order to push like a court case. I don't know the details necessarily of his imprisonment, but if there was some opportunity for John to get that extradition into the U.S. and then to kind of air all the dirty laundry that he would have wanted to express during those 2016 and 2020 presidential runs via the in the court sense, right? He would use the courtroom trial as a vehicle to discuss some of these things, maybe to open the closet and kind of shed light on some of the skeletons of those people in his circle. I don't know who those people may be. Actually, this is pure conjecture and speculation, but knowing, a little bit of John's mind and the way he thought, maybe only 1% of it as far as my familiarity with it, maybe that was kind of the goal. And that's why you have to understand this sudden suicide is so suspicious. Earlier Wednesday, a Spanish court ruled to allow his extradition to the U.S. on charges of evading taxes between 2014 and 2018, which could have landed him in prison for up to 30 years. U.S. authorities also had civil charges pending against McAfee for an estimated $13 million in profits from cryptocurrency schemes. In a social media post on June 16th, which turned out to be one of his last, he revealed that the millions in cryptocurrency had been dissolved by his associates who he said had abandoned him in fear. I have nothing, yet I regret nothing, he wrote. So, you can check out the coverage here. This is on abcnews.go.com. Basically the same thing here. They have a different number that they quote. So according to this particular outlet, between November 2017 and February 2018, McAfee leveraged his fame as a computer programmer to make more than $23 million by recommending a number of initial coin offerings, ICOs. Remember those days? So he recommended ICOs to his Twitter followers. That's according to federal prosecutors. They're saying $23 million. Okay, maybe. The problem, according to prosecutors, was that McAfee failed to disclose that he was a paid pitchman, and promoting an investment product without disclosing you're being paid to do so is unlawful. You guys can check out the rest of this. He had one final tweet, actually, that he put out, or that he retweeted, courtesy of his wife, Janice. Though you are spending the day in prison, know that you are loved and appreciated. And that was his last, actually, retweet on Father's Day, actually, on Sunday. So just, sad circumstances. But this is what I want to divert your attention to. I'm not concluding anything official here. I don't know what happened. I'm still waiting for commentary by his wife, Janice, who so far has been silent on the issue. Maybe she's offered some exclusive comments or interviews to various outlets, but I haven't seen anything public just yet. That may change very soon, but that is the state of affairs right now. Check this out. I like to follow this individual, Zuby. I'm a big fan of Zuby. Not so much for his music, but I think his views are spot on. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big, very appreciative of Zuby, at Zuby Music, everything he does. He retweeted this, which I knew about, but I forgot about. So check this out. John McAfee. This is back from November of 2019, really before all this trouble started. He's getting subtle messages, he says, from U.S. officials saying, in effect, we're coming for you, McAfee. We're going to kill yourself, right? Notice the wording. We're going to kill yourself. We're going to suicide you. So he got a tattoo today just in case. If I suicide myself, then I didn't. I was whacked. Check my right arm. Whacked, available only on McAfeeDEX.com. You guys can't see the full image there. So look, you can say that this was 2 years ago. Circumstances have changed. He sounded very despondent. He sounded like everybody had abandoned him. Circumstances have totally changed. Okay, granted, but it's just an interesting piece of historical evidence that, he was, I guess, facing some of these concerns or issues. This wasn't 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago. Still a good chunk of time. But look, just something to note. That's all I'm saying. You also have this. This is from a little bit more recently, October 2020. This is John McAfee. I'm charged with tax fraud, which is lying on your tax return. But I have filed no returns for many years and have made no secret of it. If I have said nothing, how could I have lied? My real crime is speaking publicly about the insanity rampant within our government. The prosecutors have called me a dangerous man. If illuminating the corruption, hypocrisy, and self-serving of our leaders and suggesting that our government has become obscene is dangerous, then indeed I am a dangerous man. Him speaking about his jail circumstances, I am content in here. I have friends. The food is good. All is well. Know that if I hang myself, a la Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, it will be no fault of mine. So look, I love these, sort of speculative circumstances, right? I don't love the fact that this man is no longer with us. Again, rest in peace, John. In many ways, I think you were a trailblazer and didn't necessarily agree with everything that you did or said, but your mentality, your philosophy, your points on government corruption and the obscene rot in the system, I'm with you there 100%, my man. So let's see what happens in the next few days. I do not have an answer right now, but I just want to make sure that some of these, these messages, these tweets from a couple years ago, even from last year, October 2020, that wasn't even a year ago. Let's keep that in mind because I've never talked about it on this channel, but like a big part of my life is following a lot of American politics, and I've been obsessed ever since the time of Jeffrey Epstein's so-called suicide. Like that's a topic that has just absolutely obsessed me, and there's no end to the deceit and the lies and the corruption and the dishonesty surrounding that case. I'm not saying that this is a parallel of it, but the man, in his own comments said it would never happen on at least 2 occasions that I know of. Let's wait and see. Let's see what Janice has to say. I have a feeling there's more to this story. We'll be hearing about it. In the meantime, a very heartfelt and genuine sense of sadness is what I feel right now. Rest in peace, Mr. John McAfee. Okay, let's switch gears right now because there is, despite that sad news, there is a lot of positivity in the space. Today, we're up again about 1.5% overall. We're seeing a lot of projects in green at the moment, including a lot of altcoins that have had the chance to rebound a little bit. There's some good news here at the level of, that's John's story once again, there's some good news here at the level of what's happening with all that abandoned mining hardware that Sichuan province has outlawed effectively. Bitcoin Archive, 20,000 Bitcoin miners cleaned and shipped out of China in the last 2 weeks. So this just speaks to my point about how in this global equilibrium, right, you have a certain supply of whether these are ant miners or something else. I don't exactly know based on this video, but China has a huge supply. They're going to outlaw them. It's not just going to go to zero. It's not just going to disappear and dematerialize off the face of the planet. China's going to get rid of them. Other countries will absorb them. Equilibrium will find a way because people are incentivized and motivated to keep this incredible network going, and that's exactly what's happening. We have other news now in the form of Chainlink, yet another partnership. Every day I could talk to you about 3, 4, maybe 5 Chainlink partnerships, but for the sake of brevity, I have to trim it down. In this case, we're talking about one instance. EGLD Finance built a custom adapter to use Chainlink verifiable random function on Algorand, backed by an on-chain cryptographic proof. Chainlink VRF ensures that all participants have a provably fair and unbiased chance of winning EGLD's weekly no-loss staking draws. You can read about that here on EGLD.finance. Their no-loss lottery integrates Chainlink's VRF to secure its winner selection process. And as you know, guys, we're coming up on the end of June. That means that THETA is in the news. You should check out, by the way, our price prediction on Altcoin Buzz on the Legacy channel and see what we have to say about THETA Network, which, of course, continues to excite us. Despite this recent kind of lull, this recent bear trend, let's be honest, that we find ourselves in, nevertheless, THETA is not a fair weather fan kind of project. They keep working, they keep moving forward. Despite what is happening, whether positive or negative, THETA keeps moving forward. They are pleased to announce the Guardian node version 3.0.2 release for THETA Mainnet 3.0. This release will perform a hard fork at block height 109.68061. Approximately at 12 p.m. Wednesday on the 30th of June 2021. That's Pacific time. See here for details on this required node update if you're so inclined. Lastly, before we get to our giveaway $50 worth of Ethereum, we have this update from Benjamin Minsu, the CEO and the founder of Elrond Network. We're constantly working with Elrond Network partners to create a global value transfer network. Now Payments has enabled several businesses to accept EGLD, Elrond, and accelerate crypto adoption. Here is a roundup of the coolest ones so far. So just when you thought we weren't talking about Elrond anymore, because we have been accused of that for whatever reason, don't forget they had their 100 days of hypergrowth. We covered them every single day for over 3 months. We love Elrond. Don't be mistaken. Don't be fooled. We love Elrond. You can read about their developments further here and the participants in that global payments network on elrond.com. Congratulations on their collaboration with Now Payments. All right, let's get down to our giveaway for today. As a reminder, I kind of mentioned for weeks, I said, this is probably the last week. This is probably the last week. We kind of went on. We continued with that messaging for maybe a month, maybe more than a month. But now we're really coming to the end of our Ethereum giveaway. We're doing it today, Thursday. Today's, I think, the 24th of June. Happy Saint Baptiste, by the way. And we're doing it again tomorrow, Friday, the 25th of June. Yes, today's the 24th, tomorrow's the 25th. So you have a couple more days to participate. And look, in the future, we'll revive it at some point. We don't know just yet, but at some point, it'll come back. So let's go ahead. As a reminder, in order to be eligible to win $50 worth of Ethereum, which we've been giving away daily, number 1, like the video that you're watching. Number 2, subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News. Number 3, comment with either ETH, ETH, or Ethereum. Going back to yesterday's video here, we talked about the fact that the crypto market was rebounding sharply and was very green. So I'm going to go ahead, grab the URL from yesterday's video here. You guys did a pretty good job with the likes and comments. Okay, copied. Go on over to Raffle Dash now. And as long as you're not a previous winner, and as long as you meet those other criteria, that's what makes you eligible. And today's winner, $50 worth of Ethereum, is Susan M. Smith. Congratulations, Susan. You are a great man, ETH. I don't know about that, but I do appreciate the comment, Susan. Thank you very much. It's nice to see, let me just be totally frank, it's nice to see women participate in comments and in anything crypto on the business side of things, because I do feel like we're too male-dominated, So, Susan, I am assuming your gender, but I'm assuming you're also a female, and it's just great to see female participation. I know our audience is overwhelmingly male, for better or worse, but I love seeing more women in the space, and I'd love to see more women leading the space, certain initiatives and whatnot. It does tend to be male-dominated, so I'm happy that, Susan, you are the winner. Please go back to this video, i.e. yesterday's video, find your comment, Susan, this one right here, and reply to your own comment with the Ethereum address that you would like us to send you your $50 worth of Ether. It is that easy. Once again, Susan, congratulations. Guys, that is it for today. There is a lot of news. Again, not all of it was happy, but consider this maybe a small tribute video of sorts to John McAfee. Really a great man, and for the record, I don't agree with much of what he did, or even most of what he did in the cryptocurrency space. I think he showed a lot of terrible projects, but without the John McAfees of the world kind of getting out there, making a lot of noise, and just bringing attention to the space, I don't think we'd be where we are today. He famously talked about his big $1 million Bitcoin bet and how he'd be eating his genitalia, right? If it didn't hit $1 million by the end of 2020. Obviously, we didn't get to $1 million yet in Bitcoin, but we will one day. And how much media attention did that bring into the space? Maybe in retrospect, maybe this would be giving him too much credit. I don't know, but to consider perhaps it was intentional. Perhaps he was, just wasn't taking himself all that seriously and just said something outlandish, knowing that the media attention would be, he'd get that spotlight to a certain extent, and the space, more importantly, would be discussed by a lot of the traditional outlets. The exposure that way would build organically. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it was just more off the cuff, but either way, John McAfee, rest in peace. I think you were a credit to this space in terms of your net contribution. I think it was certainly positive, and best wishes to your family, John. You're going to be missed. That's for sure. As always, guys, none of this is financial advice. However, best of luck if you do choose to invest. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications. Stay safe, everybody. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.